I am calling this meeting of the Town of Silver City Council to order. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome to everybody. I have one announcement, and that is Councilor Ray will not be present at the meeting this evening. The next item on the agenda is changes to the agenda. Do any of the councilors want to make changes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and no changes. The next item is council comments. First on the list should be Councilor Ray, so we'll move to the second person, Councilor Amon Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I only have one comment, and that is I want to congratulate our local paper, the Daily Press, on having received a number of awards from the New Mexico Press Association.
Thank you. Councilor Bedeston?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to agree with what Councilor Amon Smith said. Congratulations to the Daily Press for winning all those awards.
Thank you. Councilor Connor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No comment.
Okay, thank you. Any additional comments? The only comment I have to make is over I think it was Friday or Thursday, there was a fire on Arizona Street. And this is again a recognition of how our local first responders put themselves in harm's way all the time. There was a fire on Arizona Street, and I happened to be there for practically the whole thing as a spectator. But Fireman David Gonzalez was walking on the floor, and apparently it had eroded away underneath, and he fell through the floor and dislocated his shoulder. And Fireman Lance Hartman was also taken to the hospital with some health issues. I don't think he encountered an accident or anything like that. It was unrelated to that. But so, you know, we just need to always keep in mind that these folks sometimes pay a high price for protecting our city. The next item on the agenda is approval of minutes of the October 24, 2017 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Amon Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of the Town of Silver City of October 24th, 2017.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilor Bedeston.
Thank you, Mayor. I second the motion stated.
Is there any discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is public input, and we have one person that signed up, Ronald Quintana. Mr. Quintana, if you would come up, and you need to turn on the microphone and speak directly into the microphone, and you'll have 5 minutes, okay?
Yes, sir. My name is Ronald Quintana. I'm one of the food and beverage director of Q7 Bistro LLC, and I'm just wanted to talk with you guys about it's not a real issue, but it is kind of puts us in a bind sometimes, and I'm sure it puts other people in binds. It's the subject of when we do what I'm about to do tonight, which is get an approval, disapproval of a special dispenser permit. I've come in and there's been events where people have asked me to do these special event permits, and which obviously it makes us money, you know what I mean, helps us do what we need to do as a business. But sometimes doing and coming to the town council meetings and getting approval, turning all the paperwork that has to be turned in a month and a half, you know what I mean, prior to the event happening, we've lost out on caterings. Due to that fact, you know what I mean, where people want to have us do the caterings and the alcohol, and even for the event that I'm trying to get the approval for tonight, if I would have been 1 day late or, you know, try to turn in the paperwork tomorrow and the event's a whole month from today, I would have missed out on a big catering. And for me, when other cities, that I've lived in and done the same thing and pulled permits, depending on the event, whether if it's a big concert or a street party like we do out there in front of Q's for Blues Festival and stuff like that, absolutely, you know what I mean? Because I think it should be something where it's causing a closure of streets, noise ordinance, the liability, insurances, all that stuff. But where we're doing events, such as at the conference center or at the armory or at any of the little catering venues that we have here, if there's could be some type of easier way where we turn in paperwork, show it, in the past that's what we've done, turn it in to the city. They look at it, sign it, a day later, it's back to you. And like I said, it's not a problem, but sometimes it is because we lose on our business, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's power's toes, but it's, just a suggestion of possibly it being an easier way for us to obtain permits for banquets or for the conference center or for any catering center. Not outdoor street closures and doing the big hoopla.
Mayor, Council, I met with Ronald and Mr. Terry last week. So we went, Ann and I did a little bit of research, and the approval is not necessarily the town council approval. It's just town approval that is requested by the state alcohol and gaming. So if the council gave me authority to do the approvals on specifically events that take place at the Business and Conference Center, which the county already has set rules in that building that are going to be satisfied to the council all the time, because they have the same concerns that we have. So the one thing that does require us to have town council approval is actually our own ordinances. So when Robert gets back next week, I'm going to sit with them and see what we can do to amend our ordinances so that we can get these quicker approvals for facilities that's what they're designed to do. And so they should have all the protections that you guys would be wanting to look at. I was even thinking maybe even if the town council passed a resolution authorizing me to approve the permits at the Business and Conference Center with the requirements. If I feel concerned about an event that the council may have a concern about taking place, I would rather bring that here. But I think I've been pretty good about making sure you guys know when I feel something's is concerning. But when all of these events that we see here tonight, these are regular events, and why would we want to make it harder for them to have them when that's exactly why that facility was built?
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I'm glad you're willing to work on that.
So,
Yeah, well, that's all, and I don't mean to always rattle the cage or anything, but it's just a suggestion, you know what I mean, that I've seen from other cities, and just to make it easier for all the businesses, not just for myself.
Thank you, Mr. Quintana.
So, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is reports. Mr. Brown will give a staff report on the cost-benefit analysis of the town's fuel station. Mr. Brown?
Mayor and Council, Councilor Raymond Smith, at the request of Councilor Raymond Smith, I went back and did a cost-benefit analysis for the operation of the sustainability gas station. So, in front of you are the numbers. It cost us initially $248,000 to start up, get everything going at the facility. Our annual debt service is $23,592, and then our operating that first year was about $1,100. We purchased $72,000 worth of gas that year, but we were only in operation for, I believe, 3 months that fiscal year. So we did not use generate a whole lot of because basically we're running it like a business. As the utilities department goes in and gets gas, we charge them for the gas with the little premium for the operation of the facility. And so the costs are still being paid by the departments themselves to help us pay for the gas and for the operation of the facility. So year one, we shelled out $42,000 more than we actually brought in. But we actually did have a $5,800 savings because of the difference between what we were paying at RAC from our previous contract to what we were actually paying for the gas when we were buying it. So there's the listed price that you pay at the gas station, which is what, $269 right now, and then the rack. I looked at it. The rack cost is because we still have to get some gas from them for the police cars, but the rack on regular unleaded was $242, but we paid $220 for the gas that we're using. So there's a significant difference between the list price and what we actually buy it for. So year two, we still shelled out more than what we brought in, but that was because we had some warranty issues with the equipment, and then an employee hit the pump, and it was down, so it was down for about 4 months. So we shelled out about $19,000 more that year, but we still saved $18,000 from the difference between the rack price and what we paid for it. But on last fiscal year, we actually had a $41,000 positive cash flow. So we started bringing in more money than what we were actually spending. And then we saved $17,000 from the difference between what we paid and what we would have paid. So as you can see, I mean, we probably would have started having a positive cash flow the first full year we were in operations, which would have been fiscal 2016, if it weren't for the pumps being down for so long. So it's actually been a very beneficial step that we've taken to do that. And then now that we're leasing the building to the facility, we previously were using the building for the Office of Sustainability, so it was being used. It had a benefit because we didn't have to lease a different building for their offices. Now that we're leasing the building out, that's going to bring in another close to $9,000 a year on top of all of this. And then they are paying 80% of the utilities too, so it's going to decrease our utility costs. So I think, we're heading in the right direction. Everything's looking very well, and I think it was a very good decision. So I just wanted to let you know.
Any questions? Do you have any other reports, Mr. Brown?
No, sir. I was only going to talk about the permit, the alcohol permitting process. I'll tell you that I was working on it.
Okay.
But since Mr. Quintana brought it up.
I also had a conversation with Mr. Brown. We have an ordinance that when people go out to the landfill, their back of their truck or their trailer needs to be really secured so stuff doesn't fly out. We've been having problems with stuff flying out. There's even big cans in the middle of the road. And so Mr. Brown and his staff are going to be looking at a way to address that. That's a little different than what we're doing now.
Yeah, we're going to look at it from the landfill side. Some other landfills around the state have come up with some creative ideas of maybe requiring them to buy a tarp when they come in with an uncovered load. So that way they have a tarp or, but what we're afraid of, talking as over here as the chair of the Solid Waste Authority, is we don't want them turning around, getting upset, turning around and going and dumping it illegally somewhere else. So we're trying to find a solution that doesn't create a bigger problem than what we already have.
So thank you for working on that. Next item is 10, unfinished business. And that is the approval/disapproval of ordinance number 1263, and ordinance amending Chapter 6, Animals, Article 3, Rabies Control, Section 6-137, Duty of Owner to Surrender Animal for Observation, of the Municipal Code of the Town of Silver City. Councilor Bedson?
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance was brought forward specifically to address an issue where folks that were the owners or of animals that had bitten someone were either waiting the full 24 hours that it used to be for turning the animal in, which would cause severe angst and potential injury to the victim of the bite in terms of waiting to find out if the animal had been vaccinated against rabies, things like that, or animals were not necessarily appearing. One of the things also is, even though our code already calls for vaccinations to be provided upon demand of an animal control officer or a police officer, there was still a lot of work being done by animal control and other folks to ascertain that the animal was completely up to date on its vaccinations. So what this ordinance has done is it's putting some things into, it's sort of redundant, but it's putting some things in to law to say that we really want people that the minute they know that their animal or the owner knows, or the animal that's under their control, that person knows that an animal has bitten someone, that they immediately surrender the animal with vaccination records so that they don't have to hunt them down. One of the things that I'd like to do tonight is I'm going to add an amendment so that it's acknowledged, even though that process is already still available to our animal control officer and to our police officers, that that if the animal has a current vaccination for rabies and the area involved is not under quarantine, the animal control officer or the police officer may permit the quarantine of such an animal at the owner's home. They still need to do the surrendering part, but then that particular animal control officer or police officer can actually say, well, because you provided us with everything and this is the situation, we can have it quarantined at home. That relieves any pressure that might be on the shelter, but it also addresses the issue that we already know that animal's under, the vaccinations are all current and things like that. One of the things in doing this amendment that's really critical to me is that we want to make sure that that people understand that the only people that can make this decision are the animal control officer or a police officer. No one else gets to make the decision for quarantine. And that is the one specific change that we made sure was in there, because I think in the past it was actually given an option to the town manager, but we wanted no one else to think anywhere that they could make that decision, not even the property owner. They still have to surrender, they still have to follow the ordinance, but at the same time, they need to, if the animal control officer or police officer is the only folks that can make that decision. So, with that, I don't know if there's any questions or from the council or...
No questions.
Okay.
Do we hear a motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve of ordinance number 1263, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 Animals, Article 3 Rabies Control, Section 6-137, Duty of Owner to Surrender Animal for Observation of the Municipal Code of the Town of Silver City, with this amendment to Section 6-137, titled Duty of Owner or Custodian to Surrender Animal for Observation, after the sentence that reads, thereupon said owner or custodian shall immediately deliver and surrender said animal to animal control or to the police department for quarantine and observation along with vaccination records. The amendment should read, if the animal has a current vaccination for rabies, and the area involved is not under quarantine, the animal control or police officer may permit the quarantine of such animal at the owner's home. And then the remainder of the section to read as it currently is in the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a motion, is there a second?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
Any questions or comments from the general public? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Madison?
Aye.
Councilor Amon Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Kano?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Under new business, the first item, 11A, is the approval/disapproval of a special dispenser permit application for the Silver City Grant County Chamber of Commerce banquet at the Grant County Veterans Memorial Business and Conference Center on November 17, 2017, with alcohol service from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Liquor license holder information, W&N Enterprises Incorporated, DBA Snappy Mart number 204, license number 0151, Post Office Box 559, Silver City, New Mexico 88062. Mr. Scott Terry, CEO of the Silver City Grant County Chamber of Commerce, will request approval of this permit.
I hear so do request. And we just like to get the permit. Jello shooters, wow. We'd like to have a cash bar during the banquet. And so if you guys allow this permit, that's what we'll do. Like I said, we'll be opening at 6, down by 8:30 that evening. It's not like we're going to invite people to sit around and get drunk, because we got to clean the building up after the banquet, so we'll push them on out.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Councilor Bedington?
Thank you. Mr. Terry, just a real quick question. I think that you had stated in your letter that the $25 fee had already been paid for the private event, but the check mark is on the $50 public event. You may want to just make sure that the page...
Yeah, I've got my receipt from paying the town service in the
But the permit, the special dispenser permit application needs to be corrected in that one area.
Do you have that so we can correct it? She's got the original, so we'll correct it tonight.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah.
So, just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor Amon Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve a special dispenser permit application for the Silver City Grant County Chamber of Commerce banquet at the Grant County Veterans Memorial Business and Conference Center on November 17th, 2017, with alcohol service from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Liquor license holder information, W&N Enterprises Incorporated, DBA Snappy Mart number 204, license number 0151, P.O. Box 559, Silver City, New Mexico 88062.
Is there a second? Councilor Benson?
Thank you, Mayor. I second the motion stated.
Any discussion? Any questions or comments from the general public? Very well. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item requiring action is 11B, the approval/disapproval of 2 public celebration permit applications for the Members Region Arts Council Black Tie Ball at the Grant County Veterans Memorial Business and Conference Center on January 13, 2018, with alcohol service from 7 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Liquor license holder information, Little Toad Creek LLC DBA, Little Toad Creek Distillery, license number 63013, 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. 2, Little Toad Creek LLC, DBA, Little Toad Creek Brewery, license number 67085, 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. Councilor Featherston. Oh, yeah, come on, that's right.
I would
And
just do
we have David Crosby with us tonight too, right?
Good.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So, I'm Kevin Langner with the Executive Director of Members Region Arts Council. I just want to make sure, and I don't know if this is a typo on the agenda or not, but we're requesting service from 8 p.m. to midnight. I just want to make
No,
sure
it
that's
says 11:30.
correct.
It says 11:30. Alcohol service ends 11:30.
And do you have the original application?
The event ends at midnight, not the alcohol service.
Yes, sir, their application does say alcohol service begins at 7 p.m. Alcohol service ends at 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, if we need to change that, what is the way that we need to change that?
Right now? Right now, right?
We could have an amendment to
I
change
can
that
do
time.
that, yeah.
Okay.
And the originals have to be changed for the end.
Any questions for,
Yes, sir.
okay. Do we have a motion then? We need to do the amendment with it too.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Move to approve of 2 public celebration permit applications for the Members Region Arts Council Black Tie Ball at the Grant County Veterans Memorial Business Center and Conference Center on January 13, 2008, with alcohol service from 7 p.m. to midnight, which is an additional 30 minutes difference from what was published on the agenda. Liquor license holder information, number 1, Little Toad Creek LLC, DBA, Little Toad Creek Distillery, license number 63013, 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. And number 2, Little Toad Creek LLC, DBA, Little Toad Creek Brewery, license number 67085, 203 South Mill Road, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
Any discussion? Any questions or comments from the general public? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item under new business is 11C, the approval/disapproval of special dispenser permit application for the Hidalgo Medical Services Annual Christmas Gala at the Grant County Veterans Memorial Business and Conference Center on December 9, 2017, with alcohol services from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Liquor license holder information, Dahl Enterprises, LLC, DBA, Q's Southern Bistro, LLC, license number 28098, 101 East College Avenue, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061. So we have Mr. Anthony Quintana and Mr. Dan Otero. Mr. Otero is the CEO of HMS.
Kick it off? Sure. Yeah, my name is Anthony Quintana. I'm the owner of food and beverage director / owner chef of Q Center Bistro. We're just trying to get the license for their annual gala that they're doing for Christmas, and we're asking from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. The service isn't going to start until 6 p.m., but I just asked for 5 just because so that way when we're setting up, you never know. You might want to have a drink early before it starts, but it's going to be a good event. I'm excited about it, and just to have alcohol for the employees that work for Hidalgo Medical Center.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. Again, Dan Otero, Hidalgo Medical Services, and we really do appreciate the option to move this forward. This is our second annual event. We did one last year. We have about 240 people, a combination of employees plus one guest, to celebrate. It's actually an awards celebration. Lots of employees are recognized at this event, and we have music and dance and a really nice meal. And obviously, it's an important part of the experience for our employees to have access to a cash bar. And for whatever it's worth, I agree, if we would have missed this timeline today, we would have had to have canceled the whole event and held it in early 2018. So I'm glad we were able to get this done. And so really request your blessing.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Quintana or Mr. Otero? Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion? Councilor Cano?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve a special dispensary permit application for the Hidalgo Medical Services Annual Christmas Gala at the Grant County Veterans Memorial Business and Conference Center on December 9th, 2017, with alcohol service from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Liquor license holder information, Dahl Enterprises LLC, doing business as Q Southern Bistro LLC, license number 28098, 101 East College Avenue, Silver City, New Mexico, 88061.
Thank you. Is there a second? Councilor Amos Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
Very good. Any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Any questions or comments from the general public? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 11D is the appointment to the Historic Design Review Committee. The town received an application from Becky Smith Fladner, a current member whose term will expire on November 30. She has served on this committee as a resident member since 2004 and chairs the committee. I have consulted with the town's legal counsel and learned that it will not be a conflict of interest if I, as her husband, recommend her to be reappointed to the Historic Design Review Committee. If there are no objections, I would like to so make this appointment.
No objections.
I hereby reappoint Becky Smith Ladner to the Historic Design Review Committee. The last item is the 11E, which is appointment to the Planning and Zoning Committee. The town received an application from Sue Neal Otto Kara. The chair of the Planning and Zoning Committee and the director of the Community Development Department recommended his appointment. If there is no objection from the council, I would like to make this appointment.
No objection.
I hereby appoint Sue Neal Otto Kara to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And by the way, this will give us a full slate on the P&Z committee. This concludes the business of the town of Silver City. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman
I move
Smith?
to adjourn.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.